Okay, and welcome to Wycombe Wanderers Plus. This is Chairboys Chat, and yes, it's number 10, Kieran. Can you believe we've actually managed to talk about football for something like about 10 hours? You wouldn't believe it, would you? Okay.
It's too long.
Too long. We'll start with Wycombe Wanderers and how they got in the cup. Well, I know this is going to shock some people if they didn't see the scores, but I'm sure most people did. Yes, Wycombe Wanderers actually won, but they didn't win by a marginal little goal. They actually won 4-1. How did that happen, Kieran? They didn't stumble the ball over the line. Preston, let's start. First of all, were Preston crap? I mean, that has to be the first question.
I think the first thing to say is that because of how long it took me to set up my FA account, I missed the first 2 goals. So
why did you do that before? I did tell you.
I know you did, but I thought it wouldn't be so difficult. But it was literally the slowest website in the world. So I did miss them.
Fibre, mate. You need fibre.
I'm sorry, mate. It just didn't happen. But Preston, they weren't great, to be fair. I was thinking about saying this beforehand, but like we can say how Wycombe were great, and they were. Like we have to give ourselves some credit. But it was an FA Cup game in which you think Preston, I'm not sure they cared too much.
You think they took their foot off the
Yeah, I don't think they were giving it 100% from what it looked like. I'm not sure they were that great. So it's good that we've got like a great performance in the bag sort of thing, but probably against quite a mediocre team.
It would have been nice to have done that in a league match.
Yes. Because you know that they'll be giving it 100% in a league match for definite, whereas this I wasn't so sure.
Is that often an excuse when you lose in a cup match? Well, I mean, I said this, I think, last week, where teams sort of, when they lose, it's, well, we don't really need that. We can now focus on the league. Don't you think it's a bit more like that?
I mean, Klopp's been using that excuse for the whole time he's been at Liverpool.
We are coming to Klopp.
I know. I thought I'd mention it, but like I think you can use it as an excuse for a cup match, and I think it is true, which is it's maybe annoying thing for fans because they want to see their teams do well in the cups, but unfortunately, it's not the priority for any team realistically. Any team going into a season isn't going to think we need to win the FA Cup.
Don't you think teams like sort of from about 8th position down in the Premiership?
They probably have their eyes on it, but I think their goal is to try and get as high in the league more than get the FA Cup.
Right. We will spend time talking about the FA Cup now because I changed my I was going to just talk about Wycombe and then change the subject, then come back on to the FA Cup. But we won't. We'll talk about the whole thing because you can't really take it away from Wycombe Wanderers. Do you think, though, that Wycombe scored their first 2 goals? I mean, you said it took you that time to set up. Yeah,
I did see that. I did still saw them.
To watch 3. Yeah. But do you not think because Wycombe hit them quick and fast and were 2-0 up before they'd taken a breath, do you think that sort of shell-shocked them?
I don't think they're expecting. Yeah, I don't think they're expecting the sort of goals they were either. It was good play from. Now I know it's normally you with the problem with pronouncing players' names, but I don't have a clue how to say this bloke's name either. But we'll call him Admiral because this is his first name.
Admiral, yeah.
But it was decent play down the line, and it's like it was on the floor type thing, and then crossed into the box and Fred heads it in. Similar with the second goal, like it was on the floor sort of thing. And I don't think Preston were probably expecting that type of game, and it probably shocked them that.
You mean Wycombe playing football?
Style of play. They probably weren't expecting it so quickly, and they didn't adjust quick enough. So,
and that's the 3rd game Wycombe have played football.
Yeah, and no team has expected it really. done very well against the teams in which we've done that.
Won 2 of them.
And then the other one, we played very well and we're in the game until the 80th minute against a decent team in Middlesbrough.
Yeah.
To be fair, for the second goal, wasn't overly sure it was a penalty. To be fair, I wasn't sure if it was in the box. That was my thing.
I think
it looked like he jumped in a bit.
The only thing about it, I would say about Ikpeazu, is that he's a bit of an effort to actually put on the ground, isn't he? I mean, in fairness, he fell.
He's a big boy, and it wasn't that big a contact, was it? In my opinion, you could probably argue it was a penalty, but
I think it probably was.
Soft.
I think it probably was in today's let's hand out penalties.
Yeah.
Even though we're not called Manchester United and we're red, we'll get that one. Yeah. So, coming on, still talking about Wycombe then, what happens during the next game? Do we keep this Admiral bloke on the front, at the front?
I think...
Along with Ikpeazu. Can I just say, if anybody's not quite sure, you see, Wycombe have had this guy called Ikpeazu, known as the second Akinfenwa or something, the mini
Akinfenwa's replacement.
Yeah, he's a big, tall bloke, but he's also quick, and he is awfully good at keeping the ball at his feet and not losing the ball. He is good with that, and he has been injured the whole season. He was bought for a job. Akinfenwa's been trying to do that job and hasn't really. He's come in 3 games ago. He started his first. We won, and Wycombe have just signed another forward to be up there with him, and this was the guy that put the cross in for the first goal. Do you think these two are worth putting on together at the next game? It was okay to do it in an FA Cup. What about we're playing QPR, I might add, and QPR are down there with us?
I would have said before the match that he was only starting because it was an FA Cup match and there's a bit of rotation in there kind of thing. But you can't ignore the fact that we did score 4. And so I would have said Admiral and Kashket are probably quite similar players, both pretty small, both quick, trying to play off Ikpeazu sort of thing. So I would have said, had we not scored 4, that probably Kashket and Ikpeazu start the next game. But because we scored so many goals, we played really well, I reckon he might have to start against QPR.
Do you see the 3 he missed out though in that midfield?
As well.
Horgan.
He got an assist when he came on, to be fair.
He did.
McCleary. Yeah.
That's it. And the other one was...
McCleary.
He wasn't even on the bench. I don't know why. I hope he's not injured. But so the 3 that I put in the team when I wrote one up for the previous week weren't even in the team on the pitch.
No.
We've got a decent squad, haven't we? I mean, saying that, we're bottom of the league, and me and you sitting here sort of, thinking what a great team we've got.
I think if we had this team last year, we would have walked League One, in my opinion. Like some of the players we have now. I know Horgan wouldn't have come to us in League One because he was in the Premiership in Scotland. And, McCleary may not have come to us because he's a Championship quality player.
Didn't Ikpeazu come from? Scotland?
He did as well.
Was it?
Yeah. So whether we would have had these players in League One, but the point is that we would have walked League One, in my opinion, with these players. Annoyingly, we do have a lot of good players in our squads, and if we had all these players before, and when the season started, then who knows where we could be? We'd be higher up.
It wasn't long ago. We couldn't even have put a bench up, could we?
No.
I mean, we'd got the goalkeeping trainer on the bench, for goodness sake. And now how do you pick a team? I don't know. We're almost like top heavy, like Chelsea.
But you know that any player that gets put in can do a job.
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
a positive thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of players that I'm trying to think desperately hard to think of his name. I have to come back to him. I think try and think of his name. We've got. I mean, in the midfield, we've got. The guy he brought on as a substitute that we really like.
Gabe. Gabe Thompson, Adeniran.
Yeah. I mean, there's another one. I can't remember his name, for goodness sake, but he's not played hardly at all. And I just think, this is getting daft. And just to say that, of course, we have likes and dislikes. Of course, the fourth goal was scored by my friend. Took that pretty well, actually.
Did well, yeah.
Didn't fall over once.
No. You may not have been able to see it, to be fair. The fog was pretty bad.
Oh, right. So he completely miskicked it and it went in the net. Is that what you're saying?
Much.
Yeah.
I don't know. Of course, it was a decent finish.
It was. So QPR then. Come to QPR. Are we going to beat QPR? I mean,
I would say why not?
This January window, we've picked up one player, haven't we? I'm doing a Kieran with my hair here. It's because there's a couple of bits at the back and it's going down my face.
Well, we've picked up Knight as well, back on loan.
Oh, excellent. Oh,
which is
thank
fantastic.
Goodness for that. I mean, will anybody get their place back in that back lineup?
Stuart won't.
He won't, will he?
Tafazoli has been remarkable since he's come in, to be honest with you.
I mean, is that daft? I mean, he won't get his place back.
No. I mean, he's been fantastic for the club since he's always been here for how many years, but Tafazoli just looks so reliable.
Yeah.
As does Knight. They don't do many things wrong at all.
No. So, what about QPR? I don't know if QPR has picked anybody up, okay? But at the moment, they're in the last 6 matches, they're dead equal to Wycombe. 4 points in the last 6 matches. But we're really hopeful. I think those 4 points have turned up this end of the table of that 6. And I think we're going to start picking up points. Do you know who are below us? Quite interesting. Birmingham.
Oh.
And we play Birmingham not that far away, actually, because we got QPR, Sheffield Wednesday, Birmingham, then we got Brentford in there, and then we got Nottingham Forest and Huddersfield, and then Derby and Millwall, and both Derby and Millwall. So in the bottom lineup, in that last 6, you got Birmingham, Queen's Park Rangers, Millwall are 20th, Huddersfield are 17th. So they're in there. They're all in there.
Yeah.
I think let's give it after the 6th of February, we would have played about 3 or 4 of those teams in that bottom, and I think we'll know whether we're coming or going. I think that's it. So I think Ainsworth's choice of lineup, I'd hate to be him right now, because it's been writing itself until now, really. Now he's going to have to start picking players and styles of football. He's got a choice.
Well, at the moment, it seems pretty obvious which one to pick, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it? It does. But he's got a choice. Now, that's a first for years, isn't it? And doesn't that goes to show that the new owners have made a difference, haven't they?
Yeah. I was going to say that earlier. To be fair, when we were talking about squad depth, it's true.
He's not spent a fortune. He's not spent a fortune, but he's built
Yeah, you wouldn't have been able to get Horgan or McCleary on those sort of wages without new owners.
No. Okay, well, what we will do is we will come back to the FA Cup, but I'm going to say stop it there, and now let's look at a great topic of Brexit. And what is the difference Brexit has made on football in January, starting this January? Now, I don't know whether many people know this. I came across this in an article somewhere, and I looked up on the FA website because, of course, I was looking up the FA thing to download to watch the Wycombe game, and I come across this. Now, I don't know how many people know this. We can no longer, in this country, sign any player under the age of 18 from Europe. Full stop. That's it. No under 18s allowed in this country from other European clubs. Okay. The clubs, they knew this was coming. So in the summer, Chelsea quickly signed 5 and Man United 6 and Aston Villa 4. Sort of 16, 17-year-olds. They went straight out there and got as many as they could because they knew from this month no under 18s are allowed in this country from Europe. Just to say, it is similar further abroad, but these are the rules for Brexit. Okay. Now, there's a problem. Let's start with the first problem with this. And that is clubs like Manchester City, Manchester United, etc. The larger clubs who have the money, the owners, are buying up shares in European clubs. So when they spot their little kid at the age of 16 who looks brilliant, they keep hold of him in that Division 2 club in Spain, rather than let him progress in Spain, this Spanish kid. They'll keep him at the club they have shares in, and we'll look around all the other little clubs and bring him into that one. And then he will get given a ticket saying, if you're good enough, when you get to 18 or 21, we'll move you over to Manchester City. Okay, so that's a problem because it could look at money going out rather than coming in. It's a questionable. You have a think about how that works.
What do you mean money coming out?
Well, because the people that will own our clubs will be putting money into European clubs to get the players as well.
Okay, yeah.
Rather than just owning this big club and bring them straight over. Okay, right. Now, what happens to those above 18? Well, under 21, so 18 to 21, they're allowed to sign only 6 players per season. That's not very many for that age.
Between the ages of 18 and 21?
Yeah. From Europe. Only 3 in the January window. So you can do 6 in the summer or 6 over the year, but that's 6 per year. But you're not allowed any more than 3 in the January window. That doesn't apply to the EFL. So here you go. What happens? I don't know what the rules are of Manchester City owning Wycombe Wanderers or putting money into Wycombe. That's another thought. Okay. I mean, at 21, now the reason that rule is in there, because there was a big meeting with the Premier League and the FA who want English players to grow in this country rather than just keep whipping them in from foreign countries. They're trying to get the big clubs to nurture the players from this country and turn them into stars rather than. Okay. And the idea is that they really want 8 to 12 English players in a squad of 25.
Yeah.
This is what the FA wanted. They didn't, in the end, sign that, the Premier League, but that's what the FA wanted. So that might be what happens down the line, that they, they're wanting half a football team to be English.
There is still a certain number of English players that a club has to have,
Yeah,
isn't there?
but it doesn't. But that's if you have a squad of 40, it just means you leave them over in the corner, don't you?
Yeah.
And just to keep up the numbers. But in a squad of 25, for every 25, and half of them have got to be English, it will have an effect. So that's not written in the statement, even though because the FA actually backed down on that. And so they don't want the best English players to be blocked by bringing in foreign players. But there is another little rule for the under-21s. For any player that they bring over, whether they're 18 or 32. They've added a points system to bring players in. Again, this counts in further afield than Europe. But for Europe, they've changed the rules for any signing. And here you go. You need 50. Each player has to have 15 points. Okay. Now, if any player who represents his country, any player who represents his country will get points, is regular in the top 50 leagues will get points, and there are a few free passes knocking around. But what you need is international status will give you points. The league you're coming from will give you points, and minutes you play in that league gives you points, and the success of the club they're in gives you points. So any Scandinavians coming over here virtually can't get in, because in the Danish Super League, if they're in the Super League, they only get 4 points. If they played 90% of the time that their club has been playing, they'll only get 4 points. If that club win the title, they'll only get 6 points. So they'll finish with 14 points, not 15. So they have to be an international player in Denmark or Scandinavia to get into this country.
Pretty tough then.
Now, if any under-21s, I've almost finished. I know a lot of people will be bored. Any under-21s, they can go to an exception panel. If the players get a 10 to 14 points, it can go to a panel who will decide if these players are good enough to come into this country or not. They just don't want people to. They're only bringing in the top. Okay. Now, there's similarities, like I say, to outside the EU. But now I'll finish with this. Here's the other interesting one. These rules apply to managers and staff as well. You can't just bring in a manager. And there are 2 managers knocking, or one of them was knocking around in the Premier League. The other one is likely to go back to the Premier League, who would not have been able to have signed over here. Okay. One of them is David Wagner, which probably would have done Sunderland the world of good had he not been allowed to be signed. And the other one is Daniel Farke at Norwich. He would not have been allowed over here in the first place. Isn't that interesting?
Can't imagine many of the Watford managers either would have got over here.
But that's so. And now with the staff and all that, they have to be managing a top league team for 3 years, etc., and have 2 different jobs, etc., before they're allowed over here. They have to have experience. What do you reckon to all that then? Who knew about that? Did you?
No, but I mean, I could imagine there was some rules in place. I didn't think they'd be that serious and that difficult. It seems to be able to get into the country.
Where do you think that's going to mess it up?
I think it's more for under 18s that it'll make a difference.
Agreed.
Because 18 to 21, you don't really. I mean, for us, it doesn't really make much of a difference because our average age of our squad is about 30. But for like your top Premier League teams, unless they're already properly established and like, I would say world renowned, but renowned in Europe for being decent, they don't normally sign players from the age of 18 to 21. I know United have just signed someone from Atalanta who's 18 for 38 million, who I've never heard of. But yeah, I can't imagine 18 to 21-year-olds will affect that much. And so having a cap of being able to sign 6, I don't think is that bad. But if you're under 18s, I think it makes a difference because that's where they try and, bring the players through.
Yeah. Well, they're virtually free for a start.
Yeah.
Well, the way Chelsea and all quickly went for their 6, get them in now, quickly. We'll get as many as we can get over here straight away with no rules in the summer, just in case they're good enough.
So you said that they can't sign any under 18s at all?
No, they can't. They're not allowed any 18-year-olds or under. You've frozen completely there, mate. So you need decent website. You've gone.
Sorry, so did you.
Sorry?
So did you, to be fair.
Oh, right. So, yeah, they're not allowed any under 18s.
Yeah, that'll mess up academies and that sort of thing, because top Premier League teams and, your Brentfords and your do get a lot of under 18s from different countries.
That is the one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, Brexit. So next time we talk about Brexit, it does have an effect on football. I never knew that. Never seen that discussed on Match of the Day. Mind you, never seen anything interesting discussed on Match of the Day. They've got about as much depth about as much as my coffee that's left.
Yeah, but Match of the Day for everyone, and it's not going to be that in depth, is it? That's what your podcast and all that.
Yeah, but what annoys me about them is they don't even seem to know about football. I mean,
what, Alan Shearer and Ian Wright? But
they discuss teams on who won or weren't they great, and who lost they were rubbish, and that's about it. They don't seem to go much. I know it's not that sort of program, but they don't ever discuss. Well, maybe he didn't know, there were a number of players injured and he couldn't put the lineup he wanted. And if you look at this system, they pick out a hero. Every team that loses is rubbish. Well, that's not true. And they're so biased anyway.
I think you're being overly.
I think Alan Shearer was almost in tears playing Arsenal.
To be fair.
He was angry, actually. I wonder what Ian Wright had said when Arsenal scored, because he didn't look a very happy person. In fact, what he did look like was a right plonker who's wearing this daft hat. Did you see? You want to look?
No.
He looked a bit of a plonker, actually, but that's his problem. People might say about me, of course. Now,
true.
Okay, before we hit the FA Cup, is a little bit of news on Chelsea, because we talked about Chelsea and Frank Lampard, and there is talk going on in the background about whether he should stay or not. I believe in the offices. It is something that is sat there waiting to happen. It's not a little Manchester United bloke on YouTube doing his little chit chat about, oh, we're going to buy the world. This is occurring, and Lampard knows it. Because, well, can I just say that Klopp had time and no money, or little money. He had a certain compared with Frank Lampard had spent 250 million to buy, but has no time to put it into place and form a team. And that's the way Chelsea work. That is why his job is on the line, because they give him no time. And and also, with a little bit of time, everybody knows Klopp would have been in this situation before. Frank Lampard has never been in any situation before, and so nobody knows if he'll be able to get out of it.
I think they bought the players too quickly. Because
Kepa was already there, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think so. Or maybe in his first season.
Right. He cost them 76 million, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know how much he's worth now?
20.
You've got it, dead on, 20.
Yeah.
And his wage packet is massive. He ain't going nowhere, I'll tell you. He'll sit there and bank that.
It's up there with Barcelona signing Coutinho for 140 million, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
In terms of profit.
Yeah. Okay, Liverpool. Okay, and the FA Cup. I will do this bit very quickly, all right?
Yeah. Probably
I'll read it straight off of there. Klopp cares little for the FA Cup. They haven't been past the 5th round since he took over. Okay. Klopp has used 70 different players in the last 15 FA Cup matches. 5 years ago, against Exeter, this was the team he picked. Adam Bogdan, Jose Enrique, Thiago Ilori, Brad Smith, Conor Randall, Cameron Brannigan, Kevin Stewart, Ryan Kent, Carlos Teixeira, Christian Benteke and Jerome Sinclair. Even Klopp had only seen some of those players on a DVD, he admitted. Last year, the first team plus Klopp were on a winter's break when Liverpool played Shrewsbury. Friday was different. Aston Villa, he didn't know this, I might add, when he decided how he was going to play this. Aston Villa, due to the virus, put out a young team who 5 weren't even born when Milner was playing in the FA Cup. Klopp's surprise was he put out a decent team. Why?
Because he was pissed off for the last 3 performances. I'm assuming. I mean, he went with a full strength bench and a full strength first team, effectively. Apart from like a few changes, he had Minamino, Williams, the other Williams, and Kelleher in goal. But apart from that, it's our first team. And I think he was just trying to, probably get a win back in their system and get them playing well together again.
He was desperate, was he?
Well, I mean, when you haven't won for 3 games and you have a big opportunity to play against a, under 18 team.
He didn't really know that, though, surely.
Probably not. But
so he was going to risk it against a reasonable, decent Aston Villa team. And he get lucky playing the under 23s? Because their first half was shocking.
Yeah, it was. It wasn't great. But in all fairness, I didn't watch the first half. I only watched the second half. But in saying that, it's probably understandable considering how bad we've been recently. But then when Thiago and Shaqiri came on, it just completely changed. and Thiago looks so good on the ball. Like that's what we bought him for. And you think he's probably got to start against Man United on
Shaqiri.
Sunday. Shaqiri, I would, but I don't think Klopp will. Shaqiri can be a risk for, like, in the system that we play, because he doesn't like putting him in the front three because you've obviously got Salah, Mane, Firmino, and he's not your typical Klopp midfielder. He's not a Henderson. He's not a Wijnaldum. He's not a Thiago. He's more of an attacking midfielder, and we don't play an attacking midfielder in our system. So I'm not sure he will. I would, but I don't think he will.
What do you think about Minamino then?
Average at best, unfortunately.
Because I looked up about his style of play, actually. I sort of searched around for bits and pieces. And what people have basically come down to is he looks like he might have it. He knows what he's supposed to be doing. He knows where he's supposed to go. The snag is he can't do it. His tackling is desperate. Okay. Yeah. If you look at how many tackles he wins, percentage, I know all these percentages are dodgy, but he's miles away. He loses tackles. He can't go into a tackle and ever win a ball. Okay. But he does lose it an awful lot. Okay. So he commits more fouls than Salah, Mane, and Firmino. Sorry, he commits more fouls than any of them by lots. I mean, the other big one, Mane, but that's because he's got the ball most of the time. You know, he only wins 50-50 tackles. He only wins 21% of them. Okay. Mane wins 49% of them. When he doesn't have the ball and he goes in for it, he will win 49%. Salah will win 41% and Firmino 48%. He wins 21%. He attempts more than they do. Okay. But he gives away fouls, not gets the ball. And therefore he's giving free kicks away all over the pitch. And he's slow. He can't keep up. If a player wins the ball off of him and starts doing a runner, that's where he commits the fouls because he can't keep up. He sticks a foot out. It's his defensive is what's lacking. He doesn't have any defence in him.
Yeah.
And therefore he's dangerous to Liverpool, because if Liverpool play such a high line and he loses the ball so regularly in the midfield, that attack by the opposition comes full whack at them. It's holding on to the ball is Liverpool's strength, isn't it?
It's holding on to the ball and having a high press in which every player on the pitch for Liverpool can defend very well. And it appears that he just can't.
Would you get rid of him?
Not yet, but I can't see him ever being a regular in the team. And I can't see him being a super sub type player either. So really,
he's not a winner, is he? He's not. I mean, Shaqiri is a game winner.
Yeah.
He isn't. When he comes on, you think, oh, well, that's the end of that game.
Yeah. It's similar to Origi, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
2016-17 was when Origi was like actually properly playing in our team. And now 19 to 20 to 21, it's just like, there's no point in bringing him on. He's no better than a Mane who's had 80 minutes already on the pitch and could be tired.
Would you say the only reason to bring him on is so that the other players don't get injured?
Probably. I mean, this is why we've got Jota now, or why we bought Jota. If we had a front five, a fully fit front five of Jota, Shaqiri, Mane, Firmino, Salah, more than enough. More than enough. No,
So
you may
next season
need
it
another
will be.
striker, but
Next season it will be, won't it?
yeah, I'd imagine they may need another striker because your Shaqiris and your Jotas are more wingers than they are strikers. But I can't see us buying a decent enough striker who's going to,
So
go along with.
You've got Manchester United next, Kieran.
Mm.
Name your Liverpool lineup in midfield.
Only in midfield, I suppose.
Well, no, you can do the lot because I mean, playing your captain in the back line is
no, that's going to be a thing. Supposedly Matip is back. Knock on wood. So Alisson, Trent, Robertson, Fabinho, Matip if fit. If not, it's got to be Nat Phillips, I would say, because Reece Williams, the young guy, is too slow, and against Rashford's Martial and all that, they'll get.
Got to be quick. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not saying Phillips is quick, but he has defensive mindset. Midfield.
I have to say, you see, it was your Mr. Captain that gave the goal away against Aston Villa.
Kind
it was
of.
His mistake.
It was also because Reece Williams was really slow as well.
Yes. But it was a Henderson mistake, surely.
I don't think
he's not a back. He's not a fullback. He's not in the back line, is he, Henderson?
Henderson wasn't at centre back.
No,
Henderson was in midfield.
But I'm just saying why he shouldn't play.
No, he's a centre mid. He's not supposed to be there anyway.
No.
But I always have Henderson, Thiago, and probably Wijnaldum as the middle three because I think that's what he'll go with.
Will he leave?
He'll leave Shaqiri out.
No, Wijnaldum, is he going? He's waiting for a bigger wage packet.
To be honest, if that's what he's waiting for, then I wouldn't so mind him leaving.
Well,
he's already on a crap ton.
Yeah, but they're not up in it.
Because we did do the research at one point how much he's on compared with. I think he's on like 80 or something. And your highest is your Salahs and Mane's and 150, 180 odd. And have a bit of, I was going to say have a bit of respect, but like, you're already asking for more money when you're on 80k. Like, shut up. This could just be like, an outsider's point of view, but like, if that's kind of your mindset to stay at arguably the club in the world who are going to win the most trophies in the next 5 years.
Well, I was going to say, surely the trophies are worth. Mind you ain't winning the FA Cup, Liverpool, are they?
Why not?
What with Klopp's attitude? Bloody hell!
What?
Me and you would get in the Liverpool team if we were there.
He played this full team the other day. You might do it again. You never know.
Doubt it. He'll be on holiday. Oh no, he's not allowed.
No. No, and then
probably the only reason he was there is because he's not allowed to go on holiday during the third round this year.
Fuck. Have we ever cared about winning the FA Cup in the last 5 years? No.
Should do.
I know we should, but and then you've got your normal front three who will start. So
right. So we'll see then. We'll see. Okay. Now, how did we get on then? Give us the scores quickly.
Right. Who did we say? We said Aston Villa would win, but of course Liverpool did.
Well, Liverpool
because under 18s.
Yeah, that was a bit unfair.
That. We said that Crystal Palace beat Wolves, but Wolves won, and they also lost me £2 because Crystal Palace didn't have enough shots on target. So I was not very happy about that.
Okay.
Millwall beat Boreham Wood, and we were like, "Oh, let's hope Boreham Wood win," but it was 2-0 or something. So
okay.
Chorley beat Derby, but does it really count?
Well, now you've got to say something about that one, haven't we? We have to say, was it fair for Derby to put that team out? You realise not only was it the whole of the first team, there were 5 of the under-23s weren't there either. So it wasn't just the first team. It was almost like the best of the second team weren't there because they'd been on the training ground. Do you think that was fair? Because they cancelled some others.
Maybe not fair, but I would assume that Derby did have a say in it.
No, not as such. They could name 11 players. Sorry, they could name a team to go out and play because those others hadn't been on the training pitch. You look at sort of when Southampton game had been called off, whatever, they'd all been on the training pitch. They couldn't name enough players.
Yeah.
Whereas Derby could, simply because the little kids under 3 or whatever it was had been playing on a different pitch, probably a small one, you know, with little goals, because that's how old they were. So I thought the people have said, well, that's just the way it is.
That's what I would say as well.
That's the way it is. Yeah, this year is different. So that's the way it is.
In the end, it's only one season that they're missing out on an FA Cup kind of thing. So
fair enough. I'd probably agree with that. Yeah.
We said that Sheffield United would beat Bristol Rovers, and they did. They scraped it 3-2. Just about. We did say Wycombe would win, and of course they did. You said that Newcastle would beat Arsenal, but Andy Carroll missed quite a few sitters, and so Arsenal won.
Well, that's a bit unfair. Yeah. Andy Carroll, he bothers me. He could have been, but he's just had so many injuries. I always thought he could have been, you know.
It's like Jack Wilshere, isn't it? Could have been incredible, but Sturridge as well.
Well, you could say that. You could say he could have been any decent player that ends up in Newcastle.
True.
They ain't going anywhere, are
they? Middlesbrough beat. You said that Middlesbrough would beat Brentford, but Brentford actually won.
Yeah.
Don't know too much about that game, to be honest. And Spurs beat Marine, funnily enough, as they should.
Yeah, 5-0. No, they could have made it worse than that. Actually, because they were probably up at half time.
Probably took their, foot off the gas kind of thing.
Thought, I hope they don't go and do a 10-0 or something. You know, that'd be so bad. They should have let them walk up the other end and at least score. You know,
well, they hit the bar in the first half, didn't they?
Yeah, but I don't think you can really count that as being a chart. You know.
No.
Okay, so let's look at Saturdays and Sundays then.
Indeed.
You're going to note down what I'm going to say?
Yeah, go for it.
Right, Saturday, Aston Villa, Everton.
Draw.
Aston Villa. Fulham, Chelsea.
It's got to be Chelsea, isn't it?
No, Fulham.
I would have said. All right.
I'm saying Fulham. Oh, this is Leeds, Brighton.
I see. You would have said Leeds should twat them, shouldn't you?
You should have said Leeds should have won yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, look who they were playing surely, wasn't
it? No. Crawley.
Oh, yes, that's right. Sorry, yeah. Division 2. Yeah. I mean, they either win well or lose badly, don't they? Have Brighton got it in there? Have Brighton got it in them to win well, Brighton?
No.
Who's this striker? Any odds?
Welbeck.
And
Mopé. I'm saying Leeds.
They've got to do a comeback, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going for draw for that one. I know that's dodgy with Leeds. But Leicester, this is interesting. Leicester, Southampton.
I think Southampton's centre-backs are injured at the moment. And so I think Vardy might take them apart.
He will. Leicester, yeah. West Ham, Burnley.
West Ham, Burnley haven't really got much, or a draw.
I mean, West Ham selling Haller though
for less than half of what they paid for him.
Yeah, what a waste of money. I didn't like him very much. I have to say.
I thought he was. I thought he was getting a run in the team recently, and I thought he was doing okay, but apparently not.
Wolves, West Brom. Wolves, isn't it? Is there a choice?
I mean, you would have thought West Brom have looked dreadful under Allardyce so far, apart from getting a draw against Liverpool. So
I've got Aston Villa Everton down for both Saturday and Sunday on here.
I was say it's on Sunday.
Yeah. Okay. Liverpool, Manchester United. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear. Let me put my head under the table. Kieran, you won't get depressed, will you?
Right. It's only if Rashford scores or Bruno Fernandes scores a penalty that I'll go and cry.
You've got to say that
I have to say Liverpool.
Liverpool, Manchester United is the top two. I don't mean just in the league. I mean, they are the two going for the title, aren't they? With Manchester City
as well
sitting
now
on their shoulder. I mean, I don't think it's Tottenham. I don't think it's Chelsea. I don't think it's Arsenal. I don't think it's Leicester. I don't think any. I think it's Liverpool if they can pull their socks up. Otherwise, it's going to be United City going for it. And United are going to have a dip, aren't they?
You would have thought.
They're doing pretty well at the moment, aren't they? So who's going to win that game? Liverpool have got to do something.
I have to say Liverpool. I don't think United have it in them to, have 11 players behind the ball sort of thing and do that well playing that style of football. So I'm going to say Liverpool.
God, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm going to say Liverpool so you don't get upset today. Manchester City, Crystal Palace. Well, that's Manchester City, isn't it?
I'd say I'd back a draw. I'd back a draw.
Yeah, you hope.
Yeah, I hope.
Yeah, and Sheffield United, Tottenham. Is this where Sheffield United finally pull it off?
No,
that's Tottenham. Yeah. And will they finish that game with him still in charge?
Yes. I can't see them sacking him.
I think this is the one where he goes. And I'll tell you why. It will be because of his attitude that he will be gone, not because of the scores. When you see him blame his players at the end of the games now is what he's doing. And no manager should ever do that in front of a TV screen like he is doing it. He does a sort of the little joke about it, but makes them look small. And his attitude, he looks depressed. And his players aren't going to get anything out of him. He does not look in a good place. And I think that is why he will go. Because if you look at Ainsworth at the bottom of the championship, Wycombe are going for it. And we're bottom. And we're favourites to go down. We've been favourites to go down since the first ball was kicked. But Ainsworth distills hope. He puts aggression, he puts excitement in there, doesn't he?
There's still something there, isn't there? Still a fight.
But I think he's lost it, Mr. Sheffield. I think he's lost it. And I think that's why he'll go, not because of the scores. Okay. Well, I think we'll call that a day. I think we've been waffling on. I've got to go and do some housework, bit of hoovering, that sort of thing.
Got to do some actual work.
Yeah. And so thank you very much for joining us. If any of you lasted to this moment, I doubt it. When I look at there is something you get to see how long people actually listen. So I don't think anybody reaches this point apart from me and you. if you did reach this point, it'd be very interesting just to sort of, give us a thumbs up to say you made it to the end, actually. That'll be fascinating. We do have one fan, at least, out there who really enjoys this. And can I just say, if that person, if the guy that did the write-up on Saturday gets to this point, then give us a thumbs up as well. I'm not going to do it, can I say? He wants me to do a sort of talk along to the games.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do that. I don't.
I'm not sure you know how to do that either, to be fair.
Oh, I don't know. I'm better than that. I sit there making comments, and I usually make them before the pundits do, because I see them before they do. But it could be because we see about 2 minutes before it. Could have something to do with it. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and we'll call that a day. See you next Monday at 6 o'clock. Oh, we do also have Wycombe playing QPR, of course, on Saturday. Right. See you then, Kieran.
Have fun, mate.
Bye, everybody.